Hey everyone, welcome back to Corporate Decoder, the place where we turn confusing corporate filings into something you can actually understand. Today we're diving into Intrusion Inc's Amended 10K report. Don't worry, it's not about breaking into buildings, but we will be getting into their business. This is a correction to a report they filed before, so it's like they forgot their homework and had to redo it. Basically, they're refiling to include some information they missed the first time around about who's running the company and to fix a broken link to a document about their rules. They didn't file a proxy statement, which is a document companies use to ask shareholders for votes, so they have to include that information here instead. Nothing financially has changed, so we are still looking at what they reported earlier in the year. Let's meet the team. Anthony Scott is the President, Chief Executive Officer, and a Director. Think of him as the captain of the ship. Then there's Kimberly Pinson, the Chief Financial Officer, who makes sure the money's in the right place, and T. Joe Head is the Chief Technical Officer, leading the technology side of things. We also have the Board of Directors, including Anthony Lavecchio, the Chairman, Katrinka McCallum, Gregory Wilson, and Dion Hinchcliffe. It's important to note that the board determined that some of the directors are independent. This means they don't have close ties to the company's management, which helps make sure decisions are fair. Intrusion has a code of business conduct and ethics, kind of like a set of rules everyone at the company has to follow to be honest and do the right thing. It covers things like avoiding conflicts of interest and following the law. They also have committees to handle important tasks. The audit committee is like a financial watchdog, making sure the numbers are accurate. The compensation committee decides how much the executives get paid. And the nominating and governance committee finds and recommends people to be on the board and make sure the company is following good corporate practices. No errors were corrected in this filing. Now let's talk about the money. Here's a quick look at what the top folks made. Anthony Scott, the CEO, had a salary of $425,000 in 2024. Kimberly Pinson, the CFO, made $270,000, and T. Joe Head, the CTO, also made $270,000, and T. Joe Head, the CTO, also made $270,000. In T. Joe Head, the CTO, also made $270,000 in 2023. Mr. Scott had about $458,000 total. Bonuses are tied to performance, but because the company didn't hit its sales or earnings goals, no bonuses were paid out to these execs or any full-time non-commissioned employee. The company gives out stock options to its employees and execs, which is basically the option to buy the company's stock at a certain price. This is meant to encourage them to want the company to succeed, so the stock goes up and their options are worth more. As of the end of 2024, there were some outstanding options, but no stock awards to the named executive officers. The non-employee members of the board of directors each get $37,500 a year, as well as restricted stock, which is stock that they can't sell right away. The chairman gets an extra $40,000, and the heads of the different committees get extra pay too. Here is something to note. As of April 30, 2025, Anthony Scott owns 8.84% of the company. How much did Intrusion pay their accountants? Well, for the fiscal year 2024, audit fees were about $235,000 and were over $215,000 in the previous year. They paid about $335,000 for all services. On January 2, 2024, Anthony Scott bought a note for $1,080,000 in exchange for $1 million. This means the company was obligated to make payments to Mr. Scott. So what does all this mean? Intrusion Inc. is working to stay in compliance, making sure to accurately report their executive compensation and other important information. While they missed some details in their initial filing, this amendment gets them back on track. Looking at Intrusion, the company is still small. They are still a non-accelerated filer, which means they are on the smaller size and not subjected to certain auditing policies that are required for bigger companies. One of their biggest strengths is their focus on cybersecurity, which is a really important area right now. Also, they have a good team, including Anthony Scott, who has a lot of experience. One potential issue for Intrusion is their cash. They are relying on things like selling notes to stay afloat. They also may continue struggling if they don't meet targets. Overall, Intrusion is operating in an important business space, and its future success hinges on growing sales and revenue. Thanks for watching. If you found this breakdown helpful, give us a like, drop a comment, and subscribe for more Corporate Decoder deep dives. See you next time.